Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Politics and Pop Culture with Ciara.
And Chris, today is Monday, October 19th, 2020. Ciara, how are you feeling on this glorious morning we're having?
I am feeling so good. You know, it's a nice fall day. The rain's going. Grab myself some hot cocoa and be good to go.
I love that. I'm finally back home. Remember, I did like 3 shows on the road.
I do
I
remember.
finally made it back to my place of residence, so I thank God for traveling mercies. I hope I'm not sick. It was really interesting being in the airport during the pandemic.
I'm sure. Are you quarantining now?
I'm quarantining for the rest of the year. No more turning up, no more visitors. I'm done, like until January.
That sounds good. October is moving kind of slow, don't you think?
I do feel like so much has happened in this 1 month where it feels like 2 months. So I'm like, October's taking its time.
Yeah, I'm like, it should be over. The year should be over by now, I think. It should just be 2021. I wonder, like, do you feel like when the new year happens that people's mentality is going to shift, that the world's going to shift in some way? Like, you know, because there's this whole, narrative like 2020 sucks, it's terrible, it's awful. Do you think like once it's 2021, people will start to, I don't know, think
rebirth,
differently?
renew, refresh.
Yeah, like we're out of 2020. Like,
I hope so, because remember the year started with Kobe Bryant passing. Like that was in January. Remember how that feels like forever ago, but
yeah,
I feel like that put us on a bad foot.
Yeah, I agree. But let's practice it now. Let's just pretend that 2020 is no longer, or this bleak, dark cloud over 2020 is no longer, and the sun is starting to peer out and shine on us again.
I agree. And also, speaking of October, were you aware of the Spell House virtual homecoming?
I was aware of it, yes.
I'll say that as well, too. I'm proud of people for still creating community and doing their thing. And shout out to Morehouse and Spelman, because if it wasn't for the pandemic, we would have been probably in Atlanta right now. We'd probably be recovering from the weekend. So I thought of you because I'm like, oh, no, this would have been our homecoming time.
I have not been to a homecoming since graduation.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I was going to wait for my 5-year, but it's not like a goal of mine. It's not like I'm purposely trying to be booked during homecoming, but since graduation, thank God, I've just always had a job. And, some of my friends in the industry say like, oh, just give them your hours. Just let them know that like you can't work during these days. And I'm just like, but I love my job, and I'll be back for the 5-year if I'm not working. So this would have been the perfect time for me to go, but not.
Because if there probably wasn't a pandemic, you probably would be working right now.
Exactly. Wow.
Yeah.
Tear.
So let's get into the news. CNN reports that Kanye West responds to Issa Rae's SNL joke. Kanye West is speaking after being mentioned in Issa Rae's Saturday Night Live skit. The insecure actress played a lawyer for the NAACP, appearing on Kenan Thompson's made-up morning talk show, Your Voice Chicago, about the upcoming presidential election. In the first moments of the skit, Rae said she would be voting for everyone Black, a play on her viral comment at the 2017 Emmy Awards that she was rooting for everyone Black. Do you have a rooting for Black t-shirt or anything like that?
I have a lot. I don't have one that says rooting for everyone Black, but I have a lot of pro-Black shirts.
I love that. So, seconds before the end of the skit, Rae quickly got the last word while responding to Thompson's mention of Kanye West. Kanye, F him, along with an eye roll. Kanye West responded to the joke by tweeting, I've always said SNL uses Black people to hold other Black people back. My heart goes out to Issa Rae. I'm praying for her. He continued, I know that 20 years of service that I've paid in the entertainment field has furthered our ability to be more successful. The rapper of 4 announced that he was running for president on July 4th. He has since campaigned on Twitter and encouraged voters to write in his name on the ballot where it does not appear. What are your thoughts on the Kanye West, Issa Rae little shuffle? What do you think about that?
I think SNL is a satire, skit, comedy show. They make jokes, they crack on everyone. They are, I think equally offensive opportunists, you know what I mean? So it's not like anyone's off limits. It's not like any topic or subject is off limits to be made fun of or joked or insulted. It's not supposed to be taken seriously. You know what I mean? First of all, it wasn't Issa Rae, like she was in a skit. It was a whole satire comedy skit. And so Issa Rae doesn't feel bad about it, I'm sure. You know what I mean? I'm not sure she's like, oh, I offended Kanye West. I don't really believe that Kanye West is boohoo hurt either. He's performed on SNL a number of times, so he's been there. So this is just a headline for whatever news circuit decided to run it for clicks.
Yeah, because I think that everyone kind of, like you said, it's all fair game for everyone. So like for you to get in your feelings and feel like you're somehow exempt from SNL skits, that's kind of wrong. I don't know. I hate the fact that Kanye West is running for president so late in the game. It's almost like not to be taken seriously. I hate the fact that people are writing his name into the ballot. Like, I just don't like any of that at all. Anything about Kanye West running for president, I'm not a fan of anymore. It was a nice idea to kind of play with, but when I saw that he wasn't making the ballots, he didn't go to the debates, it's just, I don't like it.
Yeah, I think, he could be a great, some of the stuff makes sense that he tweets as far as, artists should own the rights to their own music. And, he has been a pioneer in the music industry and music business. But what are your plans to end poverty? Like, what's your views on this? That's it.
Yeah.
And also, Justin Bieber was the guest artist, and he has what's the name of the song? Holy? Is it Unholy? Holy.
I don't know anything about Justin Bieber.
Okay, so he has this new kind of like Christian faith song about,
oh, nice.
And so he performed that. And so I looked at it kind of like under this whole mold of, Kanye going gospel and Chance the Rapper. I don't know what it is about him, but he always seems like a spiritual force is guiding his art. But Chance is a guest star on it. So I just think it's interesting, kind of this move into like this whole pop Christian faith sector going mainstream. I just wanted to comment on that. I like the song.
Good.
Yeah.
I like that. Interesting. Yeah. Have you been thinking anything about the stimulus? Like, there's a stimulus deadline. Stimulus negotiators fast approaching a deadline to resolve key differences and deliver a sweeping coronavirus relief package to the American people before Election Day, ladies and gentlemen, before Election Day. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on Sunday set a Tuesday deadline for her and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin to reconcile significant policy disputes if they want to pass a bill relief before November 3rd. That means by next show, we might have a stimulus bill. Yeah, you think they're gonna be able to pull it off?
I don't understand why not. At this point, I'm just like, give us something. I understand that the Democrats want to give us a lot, but now it's just at the point where it's just like, give us something. Now it kind of seems like everyone's being unreasonable, and it's like, why can't y'all work together, everybody, and give the American people what they deserve? Something.
Give them something. Pelosi expressed optimism in a letter to House Democrats on Sunday that a deal can be reached, but the hurdles facing each stage of what will be necessary to get something actually passed are numerous and each about a mile high. The best case scenario people involved say is Pelosi and the administration strike some kind of deal in principle that can be drafted and considered after the election. But given the outstanding issues, even that might be quite a feat in the next 24 hours. So
what do you think?
We probably ain't getting no stimulus. We should have had one, but we probably ain't getting one. A lot of people need a lot of help, and we've been going this far without that support. I think the first stimulus came out, in June? Wasn't it the summertime?
Yeah.
And now we're in October, and people are still out of jobs. I know California is still shut down. I don't think I can go out here and find a job anytime soon. I think
people are getting evicted.
People are getting evicted. People are hungry. People don't have money for their rent. So I'm just getting exhausted with politics all in general because it should be about the people, and we're losing
Exactly.
that on both sides. Like, I'm just becoming, as I'm learning more about politics, I'm understanding just how it's not about the people, and that's what bothers me.
It's
Just
about the
about
money.
it's
It's
about a
about
lot
the
of
power.
political wonkiness, like Marianne Williamson said, a lot of political wonkiness, and that is just doing us a disservice. So I'm very, very critical of both sides. Like, I feel like Democrats can be doing more, Republicans can be doing more, because I'm just not impressed with what I'm seeing. Giving that of being critical on both sides, I'd like for us to go back to Ice Cube and the whole cancel culture.
Mm.
Should we be canceling Ice Cube for working with the Trump administration? Like, people have labeled him as a Trump supporter. People have labeled him as a sellout, that we should cancel him. And I would love for you to just, what do you think of that, Ciara?
We cannot cancel anybody. Period. You cannot cancel a person. You cannot shift any paradigm to make everybody just stop liking a Ice Cube ain't even trying to sell nothing. You know what I mean? It's not like we're about to like boycott the next Ice Cube movie, because he'd be popping up in movies we don't even know he's in. So it's just like, we can't, the notion that you carry around a type of power to cancel rich, famous celebrities, it's an interesting illusion to me. It's a very interesting illusion, because a lot of people still don't know who Ice Cube is in the first place. You know what I mean? And also this whole group mentality that all Black people should cancel Ice Cube. Is that free thinking? You know what I mean? Is that, or is it hopping on the bandwagon? But if you're not paying Ice Cube, you cannot cancel Ice Cube. You know what I mean?
So
And
are you saying that we shouldn't cancel Ice Cube because we can't practically cancel him? Or do you think that we shouldn't because it's morally wrong?
both. If canceling Ice Cube makes you feel better, then go for it. You know what I mean? Like, if that's going to make you rest easy at night, if that's going to clear your conscience, if by you, tweeting or, leading a charge to cancel Ice Cube for what exactly? Because he is willing to talk to Trump or whatever, because he's not endorsed anybody. So I think if that makes you feel better, if that is, releases something off of your chest or off of your mental or off of your psyche, go for it. I stand with you. Whatever makes you feel better and it's not causing any harm to anybody, you are welcome to do that.
I hear you. I watched him last night on CNN with one of the, who's the Cuomo brother that works for CNN? Because it's Andrew Cuomo and Chris Cuomo. I don't want to misspeak.
Chris.
Chris Cuomo is the CNN commentator.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because there's two Cuomo brothers. Yeah, so Chris Cuomo is the journalist. Andrew Cuomo is the governor. They're both very entertaining guys.
Yeah.
So Chris Cuomo interviewed Ice Cube on
He a little
CNN.
cutie.
And it was a really interesting conversation because his whole point was just trying to get an understanding of why he even had a conversation with Trump in the first place.
Oh,
and
they did talk.
Yeah, and like no one is bringing. I'm not seeing anyone talking about this interview because it really was enlightening. Because of course, when we hear the headline or read the headline, Ice Cube had a conversation with Trump. People see that headline and then they think he had a conversation with the Trump administration. He's working with the Trump administration. Ice Cube is working with Trump. Therefore, Ice Cube is canceled. That is the line of thinking. So then when we actually get informed and say, okay, so like what actually happened? What are Ice Cube's actual intentions? And why did he do what he did? So that's what I came to the situation thinking, okay, let me at least hear him out, because we can never, ever get a small piece of information and create an entire narrative that is intellectually dishonest and wrong. So I was like, well, let me see what Ice Cube's talking about, because I'm open to things. Let's see what's up. And he made it very clear, I'm not a Trump supporter. I've never met Donald Trump. Black people own a half of a percent of wealth in this country, and we need to do something about it. So whoever is in power, whoever is the president, actually is going to have a conversation about doing something about that. I at least want to give them my 2 cents and bring some things to their awareness, which I thought was very productive. When we live in our own echo chamber, in our own bubbles, not having conversations with different people, it does us a disservice. So if you have someone that's willing to say, hey, let me talk to you about dance here because I don't know anything about Broadway. Do you mind explaining some of that to me? That doesn't mean I'm about to go to Broadway and become a dancer. That means I'm just trying to have a conversation. I think the same is true for Ice Cube and Trump, where the Trump administration, it wasn't even technically Donald Trump, because he said on CNN that him and Donald Trump have never met. So he was like, I just had a conversation with the administration because I wanted to, if they're trying to have a conversation about Black economy and Black liberation, I want to be a part of that. So I thought that that was very good. And he also made it very clear he's an independent, bless you. He also said that he's not team blue or team red, but he was invited to have a conversation about Black liberation. I don't understand where we got to a place where conversation and open-mindedness, open-heartedness is wrong. That breaks my heart. I think it's one of the biggest issues pressing Americans today is that we can't even talk to each other anymore.
Yes. I agree with you. I just don't know what's really going to move the needle and create actual change, physical change, change we all can see. Black people have been having the conversation since the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, the white patriarchy, the white male-dominated government, they have been having committees with Black activists and leaders since, Reconstruction. And Black leaders and activists have been coming to the table for over 100 years with answers, with perspective, with answers, creating records of proof of what the government can do to improve the finances of Black Americans, the safety of Black Americans since Reconstruction. So, with that being said, what is going to move the needle for those addendums to actually be written into law and for them to actually become laws that Black Americans can see, that all Black Americans can see, So I'm not boo-hoo her of anybody talking to anybody. You know what I mean? Everyone can talk. Everyone should have conversations and to be open to conversations. I agree with you 1000%. But it just gets tiring. I'm just like, what are we just talking into a vacuum, into an empty void? Like, who's going to be the one person in charge to take everything that we've been saying for the past 100 years plus and actually do something? It's this whole notion that, yes, conversations do bring insight, do bring knowledge, do bring information, do bring enlightenment. We can learn so much from having conversations with each other. And then you go home, and then what happens is my only thing, And then after it's done, then what? Is my only thing. So,
because I feel like we're talking about 2 points. The first being having the openness and willingness to have a conversation. Second, to your point, once the conversation has to be had, what are practical infrastructural changes that we can implement to make sure those conversations actually are rooted into something? And I think we're missing both parts because I think it's one step and then step one, step two. Step one, have the conversation. Step two, after having an informed conversation, then doing something, implementing some action. And I feel like we're losing both of those. So then there's going to be no change if everybody won't even be willing to say slavery or say, LGBTQ issues or say it. We actually at least have to talk. Then we have to promote change. And I think unfortunately, we're losing both parts of that. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Really good point.
Because, Steve Harvey talked to Trump, back in 2016, 2017, was it? And people were so mad, but nothing even happened. So, Steve Harvey still had his show. He's still doing well, and Black people who were struggling, still struggling, So what we just think about, your emotional reactions to things and, work through that and, what is really happening now.
Yeah. And we're never going to find that if we don't at least talk.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. And I'm like, y'all, please hear people out. Yeah. Hear what people have to say and then make an informed decision. And I was kind of vilified on Facebook because someone commented on me about going to DC.
Yeah.
And I said, I went to learn more. I went to get rhetoric and I went to learn. And they were like, you didn't get enough from the media. Like, you didn't have enough insight already from what the media says. And I was like, I didn't want to trust the media. Like, I wanted to go there with my own mind and my own intellectual capacity to be like, okay, what can I learn from here? Let me talk to people for myself. Like, what can I learn from myself? It's one thing to be like, oh, it's one thing to have my ideological framework framed by someone else. It's another thing for me as an individual to see things firsthand. It's kind of like a car accident. It's one thing to hear what the news said. There's another thing to say, oh, I was actually there. And so many, oftentimes in our lives, we're giving narratives that necessarily aren't the truth. I was watching a documentary that talks about how like people's accounts of 9/11 were starkly different. Like someone had their version of what happened at 9/11, someone had their version of 9/11, and how conflated it was. And we just should always push for our own personal intellectual growth, getting facts for ourselves, doing our heavy reading, our heavy lifting. That's how we grow, not necessarily being spoon-fed what someone else tells us the truth is. And I will always be advocate for that and encourage people, to do that.
So how are you feeling from what you've been going through online? Now, are these people who you like actually have relationships with or actually know, or are they kind of just like,
Facebook
internet
friends who I don't know.
Yeah,
Correct.
Exactly.
I feel fine but the thing was, like, when I explained why I went to the DC, and I gave my reasoning, which was honest, someone was like, oh, just say you support Trump. Like, you're lying. Like, you're a grown man. Like, just be true. So then if you don't know my character and know me on a real level, I can't listen. When you don't know me. So like, I'm a big boy. I pay my own bills. I don't depend on anyone to give me money. Like, I'm somebody who works hard. Like, who are you for me to lie to you? I don't even know you. I couldn't get you on the phone if someone put a gun to my head. So why would I lie to you? So for me, I don't mind being bullied on social media. It's fine because after a while, I'm just like, okay.
Has this ever happened to you before?
No, it didn't start happening until I started talking about politics and started having conversations about the orange man in the White House.
Yeah.
People didn't have an issue with Kim Kardashian. People didn't have an issue with me doing my little self-help books. Now it's all about Chris is a liar. I'm like, I'm a liar. Like, why would I lie? Why would I get on Facebook and lie to you? Like, you lie because you're in fear of something. You lie because something's at risk. Someone who I don't know, who I've never had a conversation with, who I never ate chicken wings on a couch with, I don't know you. So I'm fine. It doesn't hurt my feelings. It's like, I'm a big boy. I can take it.
Yeah. On my YouTube channel, when I started doing my political stuff too, the bots came out in full effect. And the bots are people who don't have a profile picture and they have no content on their page, and they also have nobody following them. That's a bot. And so, or a troll. And so I think I posted something, and one of these bots were like, oh, such a pretty face to be so dumb to believe the Democratic lies. And it's just anybody who comes at the whole name calling of stupid or dumb
or liar, any type of attacks on character,
it's just kind of you don't know the facts, you know what I mean? Because I'm college educated and I know how to do research. So it's just kind of what are you really getting at, robot? Beep, boop, beep.
And I even told them that I'm voting for Biden. I said that. I was like, hey, I'm voting for Biden. I literally have it written down on a piece of paper. I know who I'm voting for all the way down to the levies, the issues. And I said that. I came out and was like, I'm voting for Biden. That is the truth. I'm not about to go in there and vote for Donald Trump. I'm not. Even saying that, I was like, oh, you're lying. You're going to secretly vote for Trump because you're a liar, because you're a bad person, because you're a liar. I was like, okay.
Once again, I think it's just that emotional, unaccountable release of anger, of whatever that person is holding on to, where typing that and sending that is having an emotional response for them that they need to release and get out. And I'm just there's better ways.
There are better ways.
And
we just
go ahead.
It's just important to be nice and talk about what you know, and if you don't know something, shut up. Like, you cannot to call me up. You don't know me. There's a lot of stuff that people don't know. I just feel like the biggest things we're missing in our American culture, which is to our detriment, is people not willing to admit their ignorance when they don't know something.
Yeah.
People not willing to have a conversation, and then after having a conversation, put in some action in place to make real change occur. We're missing those three things. People are talking about stuff they don't know about. They are not willing to talk to anyone, and then once they've had a conversation, they don't want to do anything about it. I think those are the three biggest things that only lead to our demise, and it's very, very unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. I agree. How can we as a collective, just really make and create change on multiple levels, right? We can't just be working on one plane because there's just so many other planes to be working on. There's social media, there's real world, there's person to person. There's just so much. And how can we move about that space with kindness? It's something that we all can think about.
That's a really good question to ask, and I think an answer to that would be to be the change. Be it. We can preach all day, Reddit. We can preach all day. We should, you should. Be it. And, there's a quote that says, don't preach about philosophy, embody it. There's a quote, Gandhi, be the change you wish to see. That's what I'm going to do. Like, I will take heat all day. I'm not going to argue all day. I've always made that very clear. I'm not about to go back and forth all day on social media because I have things to do. But I'll be at a party and stick up for what I believe in. I'll be in a family function and stick up for what I believe in and call out my own ignorance and say when I don't know something and try my best to educate people and to learn. And I think we all should be doing that.
I agree. Well, that's our episode for today, everybody.
This was really good. I had such a good time.
Yes, as always, like, comment, subscrizzle.
Subscrizzle, because we're running out of episodes. I think we said we're going to stop after the election.
Yeah. So definitely,
we have just a few shows left.
Yeah, so definitely get active, everybody out there in these comments. Let us know what you think of this show, what you guys think on these topics, Let's converse. Chris likes to converse when he has the time.
Ciara is also smart and very inquisitive as well. So you can go there with Ciara too, because Ciara's gonna be nicer to you. I'm gonna cuss you out after a while.
I will. I'll be like,
and Ciara is
it's okay if you think that. I believe that you believe that is the truth. And that's okay.
Yeah, Ciara's nice. After a while, I'm like, nah, y'all some hoes.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Politics and Pop Culture with Ciara.
And Chris, have such a fantastic start to your week. We'll see you next time.
Bye.